What's up guys, Block FPL here, and today we'll be looking at my Game Week 7 team. But first, I think I gained some good information from this Game Week 6 team that you're seeing on the screen. So if you didn't know, I made 2 risky transfers. With my 2 free transfers, I got Son, and I got rid of Raheem Sterling for him, and I got rid of Ashley Barnes, and I brought in Colin Wilson. Obviously, Sterling didn't play, and Barnes blanked, so getting Son and Colin Wilson looked pretty good. The only sort of downside was just unlucky. If I would have kept Sterling, then McGinn would have came in for him. But, I mean, there's no really expecting that. And also, I couldn't have brought in Colin Wilson if I didn't get the extra money when I downgraded Sterling to Son. Regardless, I'm feeling more confident about making transfers and just going with my gut after that. I made that transfer super early, and a lot of people said don't do it. But I know I got rid of two players that had good fixtures, but it ended up working out in the end. Lundstrom comes off the bench for me because Zinchenko didn't play, so I got lucky there. My captaincy definitely could have been better. I thought about De Bruyne. Obviously, he's my vice captain. Salah still did well. Well, he didn't do well, but he did okay. He could have had better chances if Liverpool could have played some better long passes out to him. He had space in behind. He kept making good runs in behind Alonso, but there were some passes that were slightly off. And when he did get some chances, he didn't really take them as well as I thought I would. But he's still right now a decent captain option for next week, but I will mention that later. Luka Digne, another disappointing performance, although it did sort of lead to Lundstrom getting points, so I'll take it. I still might be playing Digne next week just because I'm going to trust him. He's still been looking okay. If you've watched the Everton games, you know that he's been putting crosses in, and he's been getting forward, and he takes corners and stuff. So if Man City do something like, think back to the Norwich game, the first goal they conceded was off a corner, and think back to the Bournemouth game, they conceded that free kick goal. These are kind of things that maybe Digne could sneak an assist in, and yes, Man City looked good last game, but we still don't really know what's going to happen in terms of will they make defensive mistakes or anything like that. So I'm probably just going to trust them. Everton are still a solid team. They could still have a random good game in there at home. McGinn versus Cantwell. I probably should have known to play McGinn, but Cantwell is looking good, obviously, and Pookie, him and Pookie have been really good. But McGinn, this is the information that I really needed. I needed McGinn to get another attacking return because it sort of seemed like one could have made the argument that, his first 2 attacking returns were just a bit lucky. But no, he took 6 shots last game. I think like 4 were on target. He looked really good. But what really interests me is, in case you don't know, Burnley, like a lot of people get Burnley goalkeepers, like I have Pope, for example, because they like to sit back and they give up long shots, sort of intentionally. It's their strategy. They're, all right, shoot from outside the box. Well, guess what? McGinn loves to take long shots. So one would assume that he will, this is a good matchup for him. It sets up the way he plays for him to take some long shots, and maybe he'll finally score his first long shot goal of the season. He's been taking a lot, hitting them well, hitting them on target, just hasn't quite got the goal yet. But one interesting thing to note is McGinn, he did get an assist against, who was it? He got an assist against Everton, which is a pretty solid team, and he scored his goals against Tottenham away and Arsenal away. So those are 3 returns against bigger teams, especially Tottenham and Arsenal. So maybe that's the start of a trend with McGinn. I'm not the biggest fan of that because it makes it harder for me to predict when to play him, but I'm not going to say that's a trend yet, or I'm not going to say that's a reason to not play him in easy matchups yet. I think I've got to trust him. He might not be the kind of player that's going to get you a goal every week or, score 3 weeks in a row, but over the course of the season, like if you were in a position where you had to play him every week, I would be perfectly fine with that because I think he will be good value for his $5.6 million price. Pookie and Cantwell, I'm not too worried about them. I think they'll still be okay. I do have some worries about Norwich on the road as they haven't been too good. And Colin Wilson, well, that goal was really lucky. I was very excited about it, as you probably saw on Twitter if you follow me. And also, Abraham had a decent one-on-one chance. If you didn't know, he could have scored that game. So overall, I think my team did well. They did good. I got a nice green arrow. I'm up to like 800,000th in the world, so that's nice. And I got 71 points, so I can't complain too much. But now let's move on to Game Week 7. So as you can see, right now I have Salah captained. I mean, if we look at the matchups here, I don't know who to captain. I'm probably just going to stick with Salah because it's such a toss-up, and obviously Salah's been good for the past 2 seasons straight, and they're still playing a newly promoted team, although Sheffield United have looked good, and they're not really the kind of team I would want to captain somebody against just because they look to defend pretty feistily and pretty well at home, but it's still Liverpool. They could still easily score 3 goals, and Salah could pick up a penalty or just a random assist or goals. He always has hat-trick potential just because he's Salah. I wish he would get more shots on target recently. He hasn't been doing that. I'm not going to say I'm definitely going to captain Salah, but I don't really see myself changing because, Everton on the road isn't the best matchup. It's really, that's not bad, and De Bruyne has been rested in the Carabao Cup, so that makes me feel better about him. But I still think that De Bruyne's style more fits like a type of team that sits back deep like Watford, so he can just whip in and crosses from the right side, or just any sort of team that sits back, he's able to pick apart more. But if it's going to be against Everton, maybe they do end up dropping deep, but I'm not as confident that it'll fit his style of play. This could be more of like an Aguero or Sterling game. Son, another option I'm really considering, but I just don't trust Spurs enough. That's like the only reason. I trust Son. I think he's good. He had like a one-on-one opportunity from a slight angle, but he still could have scored last game week. And he's looking good. He really is. I think he looks better than Kane in terms of just going forward in general and the crispness of how he's creating chances and stuff. But I just don't trust Tottenham enough. Who knows if they go out and lose 1-0 again like they did against Newcastle at home, whatever that was, like 3 weeks ago. Abraham, another decent option. I don't know if I trust him in terms of as a quality player, just because he hasn't been doing it for that long. I mean, this is his first season on a top 6 team. We've only seen him score in 3 games. Yeah, he looks really good in that game. Obviously, I'm a big fan of him because I got him in only after that first game, so he scored like a total of 5 goals for me. But I don't think I'd trust him enough to captain him yet. I think Salah is just guaranteed to have some chances and he could easily score one. So that's why I'm taking the safe option right now and sticking with Salah. I got rid of Zinchenko and got Otamendi in. This is just such a simple transfer to make. I think it's very easy. Man City have, yes, they lost Laporte and they don't have Stones right now, but they still look good defensively. They come up on some good fixtures. They really are coming up on some good fixtures. Everton away is not that bad of a fixture defensively, in case you don't know. Everton do not look like they can score goals, which is kind of disappointing if you're an Everton fan because you probably expected much more. But anyway, after Everton, Man City play Wolves at home. Wolves just lost 1-0 to Reading, okay? And then they play Crystal Palace away, Aston Villa home, Southampton home. Those could potentially, I would expect at least 2 clean sheets out of those, but it could be 3 or 4, let's be honest. But, Man City will probably make some mistakes in those games given who they're playing at center back at the moment, but I still have to trust them. I do think Tomori is a good option at Chelsea. Obviously, he's only 4.5. Great option. I thought about him, but I've got to stick with the Man City defender right now. Chelsea just don't quite look good enough defensively, and I could see almost any team scoring at least 1 goal on them, just based on the way they play. But yes, Tomori is a good option. He actually looks like a good player. I think he'll probably be able to keep that Chelsea starting spot for the rest of the season, to be honest, unless something crazy happens or his form changes drastically. I was really impressed by him last game. Colin Wilson, I guess, is also a captaincy option. But the thing about Colin Wilson is, obviously I'm a fan of him, but he's the kind of player where in the past maybe he looks like a great matchup, but then all of a sudden Bournemouth just don't come out and perform well enough and he doesn't really get many chances. I'm not going to say that he doesn't perform well against small teams or he's like a troll. A lot of people might give him that label, which is fair enough, I guess, but it's just his quality. Like Bournemouth, I just don't really trust him enough. West Ham have looked good, in case you don't know. They just beat Manchester United 2-0. I don't know how much of an accomplishment that actually is, but still West Ham have defended pretty well recently, which is surprising. So even though Bournemouth are at home, I still think I just trust Salah more. So that's pretty much that. I could put Kelly second on the bench instead of Lundstram. That's really just a toss-up, though. Really, I could play Kelly over Digne, but I think I've got to just stick with Digne on this one. He just got a bigger... Does he have a higher ceiling? Like, could he actually get like a 12-point game? Maybe, because he takes free kicks and corners and stuff. So if somehow they keep a clean sheet or somehow he scores, I don't know. I'm probably going to stick with Digne, though. I like sticking with my big players most of the time. Surely Norwich can't keep failing on the road. They're going to... sneak a lucky goal in eventually. I don't know. But I do think this team looks good, though. I really do. I like that I have some home matchups. A lot of people are saying, like, if you have a bunch of Man City and Liverpool players, you'll have a bunch of away matchups. But I only have 2 from each team. I have McGinn and Son, which could be some good differentials. Also, Colin Wilson and Abraham are kind of differential, too. So if all those go big, then I could have a really big green arrow again. Now time for just some general tips on players that I don't have. So obviously I got rid of Ashley Barnes. In case you don't know, they recently switched Ashley Barnes from playing on the left striker and now he's playing on the right striker. And his heat map shows like he's been playing a little bit deeper, I believe, and maybe just a little more defensive efforts going on there. But regardless, he's on the right striker side. Obviously, he's not on the same side as Dwight McNeil anymore, so perhaps that's what's leading to him not quite getting as many shots or good chances. I think he still had 3 shots last game, but he hasn't quite looked the same since they switched sides, so I'm sort of glad I got rid of him last week. Even though they have good matchups, I'm not that confident in him. If you have him, I can't say I'd get rid of him at this point. You might have a bigger transfer to make. That's the only reason I say that, but I probably would be getting, sort of looking to get rid of him at some point. Another sort of problematic team to have right now is Manchester United. You could probably get away with one Manchester United defender, But in general, I don't trust their team at all in terms of their price is way too high. There's much better value. I would probably say, who's their best value player? Probably just Wan-Bissaka, because if they do keep a clean sheet, he's likely to keep a lot of bonus. And obviously Martial, once he comes back to the number 9 role, is still a decent value. I mean, he's playing striker and he's 7.5 million. So yeah, those are good players. But if you have like 3 Man United players, it would be hard not to wildcard right now. It really would be. Same thing with Wolves. Oh my gosh, if you have Wolves, if you have like Jimenez and Jota or something silly like that, and you've held on to that, you should probably just go ahead and just take the L on that. But then again, they play Watford this week. Watford look really bad. I don't really expect Man City to beat many other teams 8-0. I don't know how much of that is Man City being dominant or Watford just being really bad. And they definitely look really bad. So maybe this is Wolves' week. Maybe they'll have one big week. But in general, I would look to get rid pretty soon. Maybe not this week, though. So I take that back. I definitely take that back. Watford are bad. So give your Wolves players one more week, I guess. I suppose I could make a -4 if I really wanted to. I could get rid of Lucas Digne or Luca Digne, however you say it. Anyway, I could get rid of him and get Tomori, which is an interesting transfer, but I just don't think it's worth the -4. I'm going to stick with Digne a little bit. Hopefully he can get me some returns while a lot of people bench him or maybe transfer him out. A lot of people have been transferring out. Another thing I'd like to mention is I'm ready for some more Abraham mayhem, that's for sure. Abraham needs to start scoring again. He's been one of my best picks so far. He should have scored last week. If he starts going on a little drought, it's going to make me sad. So I need Abraham to start scoring. Obviously, I don't have Aguero. I have my 3 cheap strikers, so I need to make sure that they sort of keep up with Aguero. Hopefully they can. That's like the number one player I'm worried about right now. I don't have Aguero, and also I don't have Sterling, so I'm not a Man City fan at the moment. Just De Bruyne and Otamendi. But yeah, they really could kill me if Man City start having more 8-0 games like that. And obviously that would probably mean Aguero starts getting hat tricks instead of Bernardo Silva. I'll end off this video with a random piece of advice, and it is, let's say you want to know how, like, you were trying to get some opinions on a player and you're just asking Twitter or you're just asking online or you're asking somebody or something like that. I would probably go back and watch, like, if you missed the game, obviously it's ideal to watch the game and observe how that player does, see how confident he looks, if he's a striker, is he taking shots, is he involved in the play, all that good stuff, is he getting crosses crossed to him. You can just see everything and sort of decide the expected goals on your own. I mean, obviously a lot of people use expected goals, but just sort of evaluate himself on your own. But what I'd like to do if I miss a game or if I'm not able to steal a game and I want to go back and sort of get the gist of what happened in the game, how the teams played and who was sort of getting the big chances, I just go watch NBC Sports YouTube channel. They upload like 13-minute like highlight clips of the game, and it's not just the goals, it's like big chances and stuff like that. So it's only 13 minutes, and it provides you some solid information so you can sort of see how players look when they're shooting the ball and stuff like that. Some stuff that I'm interested in. Maybe you like that kind of stuff too. Anyway, this has been Block FPL. If you did like the video, please like and subscribe for more. I will see you next time.